Hi, ChatGPT. I'm wanting to create a product requirements document. What AI tools shall I use to do that?
Hey, for a product requirements document, AI tools like Notion and ClickUp are excellent. They help with structuring and organizing content. Grammarly is great for polishing the language. And for generating and summarizing content, GPT based tools like Claude or Gemini are also helpful.
Thanks. I'll take your advice on that.
You're welcome. Let me know how it goes or if you need any more help along the way.
Excellent. So I love the way that you can use AI tools to tell you about AI tools. So nice. I want to create a product requirements document, and ChatGPT does actually suggest using Claude and Gemini, which is exactly what I'm going to do today. Now, I know you probably want to get into some coding and see how it all works, and that's great. But if you work in an organization, and most of us do, where we generate software, we kind of start writing software. We need to have a product requirements document. Even if you're using Agile, I love Agile. Yes, of course, that's the best way to work. But before you start, someone needs to know, what are you building? Okay, so that's where the product requirements document comes in. It comes in right at the beginning, and we need to create one. And it's normally done by the business analyst. But I'm saying that it could actually be done by these AI tools, and so much more efficiently and probably so much more better. So let's dive into this. And let me share my screen. Okay, good. So I'm here in Claude. I've got Claude Sonnet 3.7, which is kind of their latest Sonnet model. And I'm going to give Claude requirements here to build a product requirements document. And here is my requirements. This is the document the software I'm going to build later on. So I want to build a web app to help investors find companies to either invest in or buy. The investor or buyer can enter in a 500-character overview of the type of companies they are searching for. The web app needs to call an LLM using an API to find a list of target companies based on the overview provided by the investor. This results in a list of companies the LLM discovered that matches the overview. The list of companies include the name of the company, their location, their website, and a short overview of them. A match score signifying how good the match is also provided. The score will be from 1 to 10, where 10 is a perfect match and 1 is a poor match. There is no need for any authentication. Anyone can use it. Help me turn this into a product requirements document. Now, this is a very brief summary of the software. It's not enough. You couldn't send that to your boss and say, can you sign off on building this software, or any other stakeholder or the users? It's just not enough. But that's all I'm going to write today. So kind of it is enough. So let's see what Claude can do with this. So here, I'm happy to help you turn this into a product requirements document. They're so helpful. And here we go. And let's just wait to the finish, and then we can start reviewing it. I think it's nearly done. Well, let's just go and start. We can start seeing what it came out with. I mean, the first thing is it's created a document. I mean, there's still a little bit of kind of text. It's created a whole document with sections and stuff like that. I mean, that in itself is cool. And it did it in what, seconds, not even a minute, I guess. So let's see what it wrote. So here it goes. It's already kind of given us a title: Investment Opportunity Matching Web App. Never said that. And this is where you will see that it kind of fills in things. Yeah? That things maybe you've not thought of, it's kind of put those details in. And so we see right away, okay, there's the purpose. The investment opportunity is designed to help investors and buyers. I've kind of already told it that, so that's okay. Target users. I never mentioned target users. I did mention investors, but it's talk about angel investors, venture capitalists, private equity firms. You know, it's really put some kind of meat on the bone, as they say. Key features, okay, we've got that, but it's put it in bullet points. You know, people in companies, they love bullet points. And so, you know, it's really kind of got to that. And, you know, these sections: functional requirements, user input, user can enter 500 characters describing their investment criteria, LLM integration by API. I mean, I could have said that. It's taken, yeah, my requirements of what to create: company name, location, website URL, all very good. Match scoring, that's great. You know, it's made it really clear so anyone could read this document and really understand what we're trying to build here. It's put some non-functional requirements, which I never asked it for, which is kind of cool. Performance, loading time, talk about scalability, talk a little bit about security. I put there's no authentication. That was my requirement, but it says basic security should be implemented, of course. Input validation, prevent injection attacks. Never said anything about that, but that's really good. Rate limiting to prevent abuse. Never said anything about that, but that's great. So, it's kind of putting this stuff, some compliance stuff here, clear privacy policies required, regarding how search criteria is used. Again, that's cool. Homepage, results page, clear presentation, matching score, visual indication of matching score. Let's hit, it's a visual indication. I never mentioned this, but again, wouldn't that be kind of cool? You can think that's great. Sortable results. I never told it to be sortable, but that kind of makes sense. We want that. So it's already kind of putting in some more stuff that is kind of, you would probably want, and maybe you would miss that. Maybe everyone would miss that. You'd build the software and then the users would say, oh, we need to be able to sort. It's best to get it, capture it right up front. Technical requirements. You could see I put no technical requirements. Wow, it's come up with technical requirements. Responsive design, mobile and desktop compatible. And you may say that's kind of obvious, but I've worked with vendors. I've given them requirements where we haven't specified this and it was not mobile responsive. And then we're kind of struggling at the end to try and put it in. It's best to put it in at the beginning, of course. Modern web technologies kind of goes without saying. But these even like suggests front-end frameworks, React, Vue, and Angular, which is kind of cool. And, we'll probably have to pick one. Some back-end stuff, not very interesting. I know I'm going fast, but I don't want to bore you guys with all the gory details. Talk about phase 1, MVP, kind of cool. Yeah, why not? Phase 2, enhancements, improve. I mean, this is kind of cool. Phase 3, expansion, future considerations, why not? And on, constraints, assumptions, success metrics, some open questions, what specific LLM? Yeah, we need to know that, absolutely. And it's, oh, look, he's even got a kind of glossary of my terms, which is kind of cool, like in case you didn't know what an LLM, of course you guys know what an LLM is, but people might not. I mean, this goes to users, it goes to other people, other stakeholders, and that's kind of cool. Now, I think this is almost good enough to actually kind of send round to people and say, this is what we're building and this is what we will build. But I actually read in it and now it's got some ideas, but there's some things missing here. And the main thing is when the search results come out, so it's going to give you the company name, that location of the company. I haven't specified whether it's a country or a town, but let's not do that. Let's see what it does. Website, obviously, and brief company overview. Now, what does it mean by brief? See, that's where you need to be a bit more specific, and I missed that. So now I look at that and I say, brief, what's brief? Is that 10 words, 50 words, 100 words, 1,000 words? I have no idea. And it's really up to the user, I think. And how many companies? Let's display a list of companies, but how many companies? And I think that's really important to know that. So what I'm going to do, well, there's two things you can do. Is you can take this document and you can edit it and put these things in, which is perfectly acceptable. But you know how long it took to generate this document? Seconds. It'd probably take me longer to edit this document than it would to generate a new one. So what I've got is I'm going to edit the requirements and just generate another document. So what I'm going to do is after here I put about the score, I'm going to add a sentence. The investor can specify how many companies they want to search for and how long the summary for each one will be. Okay? Full stop. So let's do that. Now, my motivation for actually generating a document was twofold. One was to add this requirement in, and the second one to see what it generates. Because what you will find is that every time you do it, even if you don't change the requirements over here, the document will be different. And it's quite interesting that that happens because the AI is using its its creativity to put more stuff in, which is kind of great. And you could even just get it to generate 5 or 10, you can say it doesn't take long, 5 or 10 documents with the same requirements, and then kind of paste them together, or somehow look at what's in each one and take what you want. I mean, you can even get the AI to do that. You could just feed in the 10 documents into the AI and say, hey, like, build me a document that has all of these in there. I must say, when it comes to agentic AI, if you want an AI to do a task for you, you would expect it to do the task identically every single time. But what you can see here is it doesn't. It generates me a different document every time. So yeah, that's going to be interesting when we come down to agentic AI. But let's have a quick skim through, and we've already looked at documents, and see if there's any differences. Well, remember we had an appendix with the terms at the end. Now definitions, this is a new thing, put it right up the beginning. See, is that better or worse? I don't know, it's just a difference, isn't it? And user classes and the characteristics, primary users, technical expertise, this is all new. This is so much new. Operating environment, web-based application, cloud hosted. Didn't see any of that. So we go into here, the presentation of match companies in the clear scannable format. That's really good. And sorting capability, that was a results export option to export results as CSV, as CSV or PDF files for offline review. Well, yeah, this is new. It's put it right there as a requirement, and I think that makes sense. And of course, who wouldn't want to do that? But I never put it in the original requirements, so it's actually thought that might be something cool. Here we go, you put the user flows now. So again, a lot of changes really. User navigates the web application, enters the search criteria, specifies desired number of results and summary length. Well, that's a new thing. So search requests, user can sort, filter, or export results. So that's obviously the new one. We had sort, but filter and export we didn't have. So there's some more specification, the non-functional requirements, the performance, load time of the page, search results generation, some more stuff about usability, reliability, security, some of this stuff here. Remember we talked about the front end. They mentioned, I don't know if you remember, they mentioned Vue, React, and Angular. Now they're just going straight for React is the recommended. So let's do that. Okay, fine. Responsive to design. And now they're talking about the using Tailwind for CSS. Why not? It's pretty good. We'll look at that. Now it's got browser compatibility. So this has really gone into a lot more detail. This is a much better version of the document where it talks about, because some people say, no, don't worry about, Safari. We would just use Chrome or something, or Edge, or do we need Firefox? You see? So you don't have to take these. You can remove it. And obviously, what else we got here? Just, my God, look at this, timelines. Oh, design and planning phase, 2 weeks. Front end development, 3 weeks. Well, I hope not, because we're going to build this app later. So it's not, I don't think we're going to make I don't know, a 6-week video. So let's see what happens then. So, okay. So when you've created this document, we're using Claude, as I said. There's an option to save it as a PDF or download it as a Markdown. I'm going to download it as a Markdown. I'm going to show you why. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up Cursor, because that's my app that I normally use, and we'll be doing a lot more on Cursor later. And I want to just go over this Markdown language, because maybe some people are not aware of it. It's a really simple way to mark up a document. And what you can do is, and in fact, what's probably best is if I can show you side by side with the document here. Okay. Okay, get rid of that. So you've got this use of hashes. Hashes signify the title and subtitle structure. So the single hash means that's pretty much the document title, and then you've got double hashes and triple hashes and 4 hashes as they get subtitles and stuff. And you can see this, you've got like a heading, and then you've got like introduction, purpose, and it's really simple, but you can see how powerful it is. And you've got bolds. You can see there's bolds down here, investor, buyer. The bolds are double stars. And so it's a really good document standard format for using within your development environment. And it's, you're not reliant on like Microsoft or Google Docs or even PDF, because that adds a load of, let's say, formatting that's just not necessary, because this document will be consumed by an AI model to build the app. And this really kind of gives it enough. So that's Markdown, and it's something, if you're not aware of, that you should really be doing it now. But as a developer, most developers will know Markdown is used in the README files and stuff like that. But I just wanted to cover it because I want to make sure that all my audience comes with me and understands what we're doing. So let's just quickly, don't want to take too much more of your time because we've gone on for like quite a while, but I just want to see what Gemini does. So Gemini, I'm using 2.5 Pro, which a lot of people say from a coding point of view is really good. So let's see if it does a better job or a similar job. So this is exactly the same requirements I've just put in here that I gave to Claude. So obviously it's giving us a bit more details, it's fleshing out each section, sorry. So let's have a look what it's done. It's going to refine, and while it's doing that, let me just take a sip of my tea. Look at this. So it's now come up with a new title, Investor Target Finder. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. It's come up with a version number, date. So it's, it's a bit more kind of corporate, which may or may not fit your requirements. And so it's laid the document out somewhat differently: introduction, purpose, scope, target audience. It's got the goals, which is kind of interesting. It's got use cases, and it's like labeled them UC for use case 1, use case 2, evaluating suggested companies, accessing the tool, functional requirements, which are FR, which is kind of cool. So it's put it kind of a bit more like a technical thing. With the non-functional requirements, NFR. And I think this is kind of important, because if you kind of relate to it later on, you can say, were these requirements met? And you've got labeling of NFR1, NFR2, usability, security, scalability, data requirements. Oh my God, look, it's even generated some JSON for us for the output string from the LMM example. I mean, yeah, maybe, why not? It's got some stuff about the user experience, single page architecture that it's mentioning. That's great. I think that will make sense. Future consideration, which is out of scope, is fine. Now, this is something that Google does, and I think this is actually really, really good. Obviously, it's got this integration with Google Docs. And I think this is where, if you do use Google Docs, and even if you don't use Google Docs, it's really something that's, rather than copy and pasting. Now, we did see that for consumption by my AI tool, I want to create Markdown, and that's the stuff you probably check into your GitHub and stuff like that. But if you want to send a document around, get people to read it, get people to review it, jump into Google Docs. I think this is a great thing, and obviously you can still export it. So it's put it there, and I think that's actually a really useful thing, and that's where the like Gemini, the Google Gemini, is very powerful. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry, maybe it was a bit dry, but I think it's so important to, before you start developing software, because this series is all about developing software at the end of the day. And I think it's really important to have these kind of things like product requirements document before you start working on something. So you've got that kind of sign off from your users, from your manager, from your stakeholder. It's so important. So anyway, look, we're going to get real code in on the next video, but thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Make any comments, anything else you want to see. I really appreciate any feedback. So until next time.
So how did the YouTube video go?
I think it went pretty well.